going live on YouTube. YouTube, setting up your meeting, YouTube Live. And then you'll find we are live. I'll give you the code so you can share it and let people know where you care to invest your time, energy, effort, attention, and money, though we're not asking for any in this moment. But what I do know is that
YouTube Live.
There we go. Perfect. Everything is an investment, and then I have got to take it off of made for kids because then it won't let us chat, and I'm only singing because I'm trying to do that. Do you have anything to say? Hey, Gallery. It's great to be with you all today. Okay, hey, so seriously though, awesome to be with everyone. I was just playing. I'm trying to get the meeting details changed over on YouTube. We 5 are holding down the fort over on Zoom. Jared Wade is my co-host producer for the last 2 albums, and today we're launching album 23, which is a process and a project that we are being able to go onto with guidance and support to be able to really go inward as we create music that's going to uplift and harmonize humanity, which is what all of us ultimately wish to do. Annette Joy is our rep over in Ireland. She has a song, Fly Far Away, which is a beautiful song about the mums and babies in Ireland that were taken to homes and never got to come back to their own in the way that they had before. So it's a pleasure to have her here with us today. Nate Ferrero, he's got an incredible programming opportunity for coders to recode themselves and really do it at a higher consciousness kind of level. So it's great to have you in the house, and Joseph McDonald as well. New to you, but excited for you to be able to share your concept for how to really bring love into the frame and create the culture, which is, I think, why you and Nate are meant to connect, given our conversation earlier, Nate, about bringing culture into coding in a way that there may be a disconnect, it seems. So that's kind of what I see going on this morning. I want to give you an opportunity to say anything you might want to. And obviously we have the benefit of also having a chat privately that we can exchange messages on, because we're on Zoom. And if you didn't know how to get here, then you're not subscribed to emails from yours truly, Laura J, over at ljeh.ca. So please make sure you do that today. So in future, you'll get those messages with the invites to be able to join us live and partake in private conversation where connections can be made, which is ultimately what all of this is about. So anyone else have anything you want to share or say, please?
Just excited to be here. Just excited to see things get going forward, moving forward again. That's awesome.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Jared. And with Mad Hatter's music, you've got quite a lot going on over on your end too. If you wanted to let people know what's going on with Mad Hatter's music, I'm sure people would appreciate that update.
Yeah, Mad Hatter Music is becoming so in the States, we're becoming a 501c3, which means we'll have charity status. And we're taking, basically we're trying to take album 22 on tour. And we're working at getting all the artists who are interested set up and lined up, and then we're going to be looking for sponsors. And we're just moving forward with it. It needs to reach a bigger audience, and that's not only a traditional way of reaching a bigger audience with music. It's one of the foundational ways of reaching people with music, and live music does such a huge difference over pre-recorded. So there's that hope that we want to bring and share and uplift and help people. Healing the Child Within was our second album that we came out with, and Discovering Purpose was the first. So there's discovering purpose through the hero's journey and then healing the child within. And the next step logically is to, let's find a way to continue to work on ourselves and inspire others to do the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And so to have iron sharpened, iron must be put around that iron, for iron does sharpen iron. And so it's great to be here sharpening one another. And what I would love to do now that I have got the details shifted, oh, it's Remembrance Day, and it is 11/11 in that moment before it just changed to be November 11th, 11/12, but in the moment it was the 11/11. So you've got the link to be able to share this meeting with someone else, and just in our hearts take a moment to say a prayer to all those who have lost their lives in the fight for consciousness, and to see that the real estate being fought for in this thought war for our consciousness, the real estate is our mind. For that is the territory that we either get to plant seeds that will grow to be trees that we have ancestors sit under and bask in the shade of to benefit from, or eat the fruit of, or we sit amongst weeds that we complain about because we do not need that which we do not value to be amidst us. If we indeed are willing to consciously create, and that is what we're being called to do when we stop fighting others' wars, to carry arms so our hands are busy and cannot use the pen to actually claim our right to freedom, which is what we must all do. And I do believe that the saying last man standing is actually true, whereas the way it is used in movies and other ways is not the truth, because it is implied to be that would be a soldier, but that is not the truth. For a man is not a soldier, and a soldier is not a man, though they are one and the same, though not at the same time. And that's the thing, that if we don't know who we are and how to actually claim the right to stand as who we are, others will tell us we are other than and make the man into a soldier who is carrying arms for someone else's war, compared to actually being able to know why we are standing the way that we are. And without this meaning to trigger anyone on such a controversial day, though obviously I know that's come to be the way many have expected from me, yet it is to say that we're all in this together. It is not the same boat we are on, but it is the same storm. And we can either be running from it like the majority do, or we can run into the center of it, which is the eye of the storm. And that's what buffalo and bison do. And they are said to be the animals who are actually said to be connected to abundance. And that's what we have an opportunity to step into, as we use the creativity within our own hearts to bring forward that which would start to help harmonizing humanity the way that we're meant to. So that's where I'm going to take us over to album 22 to just show you what we have already done. And then I'm going to explain what we're looking to do and why this is a different experience and opportunity than what the previous two have been. Here, ALBUM23.com is where you can see many of the artists from the first album, and then Album 22 Plus was the second that we did. So each of these link through to a Spotify playlist where you're able to listen to 22 songs from artists, many who are featured here, and then also in the second one as well. So that is part of discovering purpose through the hero's journey, and how we actually came together at a time when it was required. And now we're being called to do the inner work that would allow us to actually go into the center of who and whose we actually are, without needing to feel divided because of what box or label we put onto the energy of all, right?
So one thing, Laura, that I wanted to point out is that because of Ginny and Emily,
Yes.
we have the albums are separated, and they're two different links, and they're not Spotify playlists. It's just an open playlist, so you don't need a subscription anywhere. You don't need anything other than speakers to hear the music. There is a Spotify playlist, but there's also just open playlists that we have.
Thank you.
Albums.
Yes. Thank you for the reminder on that one, Jared. And Janine, Emily, thank you, huge thank you for actually making it possible for us to be able to feature all of these songs. This is her song, Quiet Warrior, which we can listen to just while we're just scrolling through. And I'll show you the other album as well. And I love that it's Quiet Warrior, given this is Peaceful Inner Warriors United. And Janine has done so much, so huge thank you.
Hey Laura, can you turn your volume down just a little bit?
Yes, maybe.
There you go. That's perfect.
Is it?
Yeah, it's better.
I didn't even change anything. Okay, great. And then this is Healing the Child Within.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here we go.
Does 22 relate to the artist, the year? What's 22 actually relating to?
Yes.
It's the number of songs that we have on the album.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And yeah.
Yeah. So those are the 22. The first album we actually set. So for album 22 itself, we set 22 as the deadline, which unfortunately we had more come in and we actually had to not include a couple to keep it to 22, which unfortunately you live and you learn and then you do better. So with this one, we didn't put a deadline or on a numbers count. It was the 22 was specifically correlated to the high rise of emotional awareness and the 22 levels of emotion. So that was where the 22 number came through or came
Cool.
from. And then with album 22 plus, it ended up, we just happened, quote unquote, to get 22 submissions. So that's why we have 22 on each of these. We're not necessarily going to have 22 on the new album, but what is interesting with this, from doing these two projects pro bono, because Jared and I have put in a lot of effort to bring about both of these albums without asking for anything from anyone, because we understand the value of the ripple effect and what we're doing by doing what we feel called to despite the pay. Because it's just like in this life, you either have a job, a career, or a vocation. And it's like when we are actually in the vocation, like we don't need the money. We show up and we do the work because we know that it's required and we know that that's what needs to happen. And so we do it, even though we don't get paid for it. Whereas when you get paid for it, sometimes you won't do it if you're not getting paid for it. So you don't necessarily go above and beyond. Whereas when you're at vocation level, you do. When you're at career level, then you may, depending on what's in it for you. Because so oftentimes that's what we're dialed into, that station, WIIFM, what's in it for me. And so this opportunity is really about shifting into what's in it for we, so that we can actually be the ones that create a better experience for ourselves and the world that we're creating for in the process. So I'm going to share with you the details for album 23, which is less about the album, which is what is important to me, because after doing the first two, this one, what's most important to me is that we actually have a community experience. I'm less concerned about having a project or an album brought together at the end than I am to have a bunch of artists that have actually went through the journey inward to transform their own energetic signature, so that any music they produce down the line, not just what we all stand to benefit from by getting on a combined compilation, that ultimately then introduces all of us to everyone that would want to be exposed to just one of us, right? It's like, that's the benefit of being part of a group. And so instead of giving people an opportunity to benefit without giving back, this is an opportunity to say, if you want to be part of this project, it's going to be epic. It absolutely is. But in order to actually be part of that epic experience, you've got to be willing to do the inner work, because there is an earn in journey. It's a URNE after the JOY is taken out, so that it becomes the joy that we actually get to experience in the moment we're in it. But that earn is the ballot box that's left over, that we're either letting others place a vote within the kingdom of us, or we're taking the vote back and saying we're going to be creators instead of consumers. So to do that, we're going to actually go on that journey inward together. But we all have to go through the innermost valley alone, because that's ultimately what every hero must do within the hero's journey. And then I call that the sacred sojourn of the soul, which is the dark light of the soul that comes after the dark night with the K of the ego. When we get stripped of all of the external statuses, the fame and prestige and all of those accolades, in order to finally get back to the fact that we were enough the whole time. It was only when we got that flipped idea that we had to become more or would be less in order to remember we were always enough. It was only when the power dynamics got perverted that we started to lose ourselves in that allows us to strip ourselves bare of all of that and step into the dark light fight of the soul, where we face ourselves. And then we see how all of that is a reflection of what is inside. So if we shift this and have less garbage on the inner kingdom, because we went through and found a few wrappers that someone tossed into the kingdom when they got a tour of our personality, which is what that inner kingdom represents. And as they went through your personality and found aspects of yourself they weren't comfortable with about themselves, or that maybe made them nervous because of what that would mean would change in your life if you expressed that audacity, that voracious love for life, that standing firm in faith, that power of full presence embodied in the moment. When they got uncomfortable, when you exposed that or expressed that about yourself, and they threw a wrapper or a can or a pop bottle into that room just to make it look messy, so that you got embarrassed because you didn't have time to clean it because you really wanted to be a good host and keep going with the tour. But now you got that garbage, you just close the door and they'll come back to it later, except for you don't. You just start to think that that room's a dirty room because somebody else left their crap in it, right? And if you're creating with that crap in your kingdom, and you're closing off parts of yourself because someone else crapped on you in order to keep you at a level where they could still get their finger over you, how's that going to serve you moving forward is the question that you got to ask yourself. Because in the scheme of things, when you talk about how things are showing up now, and you take ownership for the fact that we are creative beings, then we actually realize that things are showing up the way that they are because that's what's in the cosmic kitchen of the inners within us. Like these inner webs of self-worth, self-esteem, self-belief, and self-security, like those webs, either those webs are going to lead us to places that will strengthen us to be able to put out music that actually reaches the hearts of those who need to hear it, rather than the words that would just try to get them to think about it. We're taking it deeper, because if we can change our own frequency, that's when people feel the difference and they say, I like how you feel. It wasn't what you said, it was how you made me feel that I remembered. So that's why it's a journey. And that's why not everyone's going to make it onto the album. It's because not everyone's fully committed. And I say that because it took me 5 years to write Fully Committed. But if you haven't seen the book yet, this here baby is the first book child that I gave birth to in June, and I'm so grateful. Because now that it's out, now I can move forward. And this is the thing that I would love for artists to remember. So oftentimes we want to perfect things. So oftentimes we don't want to fully commit because we want to make sure that what we're committing to is perfect. And then perfectionism gets us, because that perfectionism is an impossibility until we see the I am possible in impossible. I'm possible, impossible. Which one will it be? Will it become impossible because you don't believe you're possible? Or will it become impossible because I'm possible? Will it be the I'm possible that allows you to actually say, maybe I can try? Maybe I'll just put out that which called on my heart to do, even though I don't know whether it's good enough. Maybe I'll give it a try. And having a community of people that are also daring to do that too, how empowering is that? To know that there will be many that criticize, many that want to just pop your bubble and steal your power, because if they can take it from you, they don't have to do it for themselves. You're so powerful that you have given your power away for years and felt powerless because your power was going somewhere else. So as we go on this journey inward, we're going to take our power back from places that we previously gave it to. And we're going to do it in good company with others who have experienced, to guide you through those lowest, darkest points that come with actually obtaining a goal. Because did you remember, it's not always fun to actually get what we wanted or thought we did? Like when we're on our way there, if we're more process oriented than outcome oriented, actually getting the outcome is very upsetting. Because then you have to set a whole new goal and then have a whole new process to be able to get this new goal, which takes a whole more energy, and it feels overwhelming. So sometimes it's easier to just like, let me just stay on this one. Let's get this one perfect. Well, there's an element to that being a great part of the creative process. And then there's the element to where that cripples you and keeps you held back and limited, because you can't move forward if nothing's ever good enough because you don't believe you are. So that's why we're going to strengthen your web. That's why we're going to create inner, which is individual needs necessitate emotional resilience, resonance, and respect. We're going to help support you in actually creating an inner realm that you respect enough to say, this doesn't feel good in this space anymore. I'm going to actually feel into that instead of think about it. I'm going to merge them both and see where that works. Because that's when the heart and the head meet, that's in the expression. And that, as artists, is where we are living. That's where the art lives, in that space of expressing that which is thought and that which is felt. So when we actually change our own vibration, then we are able to actually shift that which we are orating, that which we're communicating, that which people are feeling. So that's why this project requires the inner journey. So we're going to have in January is where it's really going to kick off with the deeper diving into who and whose you are. And November 27th, we are going to start with Weaving Stronger Inner Webs, which is a course where basically you're going to learn how to do the inner work, the self-esteem work, also support yourself before the holidays. You know, before all of us get triggered by coming together with people that may not resonate or think or vibrate at the same rate that we do, or that want us to. Joseph?
I love all your words, and I could definitely listen to you speak all day. So that's all cool. But I have 8 million things I could say and 8 million questions to ask. So the main question that I really would love to ask is, what do you need from others, or what do you want from others?
Mentorship. So mentorship and tutelage. So thank you for the question. And yeah, basically that's what coming together in community is. So basically you get to go on a journey, and then you also get to contribute your expertise. So what skill set do you feel you have to contribute to the group that you could do a workshop on, that you could co-facilitate a summit for, that you could somehow create a video that you would be able to offer to those both new and established artists who may be looking for that edge they hadn't thought of before that you brought to the table? So creating a compilation for artists to be able to put their best foot forward and share what they have to offer. And then by they, I mean we, because we're all in this together. And so it's an opportunity to know, what's going on? When do you have another launch? Is there a song, a book? Is there an event coming up? So opportunities to build community, because we are the beacons within the individual communities that we live in respectively. And then we're coming together with those experiences from applying that which we talk about in these sessions to the communities that we're living within, to then come together and then be able to share. So as you practice anything that comes up from these meetings, then share what comes up. If you meet somebody you really resonate with, or have some kind of common ground, or have the encouragement to connect with potentially, because there might be a coming together of minds, then do so and share the rewards and the fruits with the community. So really, it's an opportunity for us to come together and do what generally costs a lot of money to and is really exclusive. Except for the buy-in for this one, given that we're all paying for all of our choices with our time, energy, effort, attention, and money, the buy-in for this opportunity is the inner work. So if you want to be part of it, you got to do the inner work, and then you get all of the benefits. But if you fail to go within, you will go without. If you fail to come to meet yourself, and you only want to show up as someone who doesn't know yourself, so that you can then sponge off of everyone else that knows more of themselves, then you're not going to have the opportunity to do that other than vicariously through videos of watching us do it together, right? So it's just like, if you want to be in the room, do the work.
Absolutely. Well, I can say that I identify as a philosopher. I have a vast knowledge of economics, anthropology, history. And so there's a lot of opportunities there. As a consultant, I help build websites, assemble networks, do marketing, branding. So there's a lot of opportunity there. I have created my own music before. It's a fantastic process. Absolutely. I assume this album's completely eclectic, which how could it not be? So yeah, community is a beautiful thing. I really think that people, as you are alluding to, should look at where value truly is, because as somebody that's studied economics, people don't have a clue what value is, where it is, how to get it, how to make it, how to give it. So that's a wonderful privilege that I can help give people. I also have connection to the indie distributor in Barrie, which would always welcome live performances every weekend. And there's a music festival called Gussapalooza I'm involved with as a volunteer. And so I know at least one of the artists is already in the club from the playlist I saw, but I can help get more in at their leisure.
Amazing, Joseph. Thank you so much. We appreciate that very much.
You're most welcome. My gifts are yours.
Wow. I feel so blessed.
As we all should.
Awesome.
Amazing. You were going to say?
I said awesome. That's just awesome.
Right? Yeah, I met Joseph at Ascension Fair on the weekend, and it was an epic experience and very befitting the meeting and the man. So yeah, glad to have you here, Joseph. And Nate, I'm going to throw it over to you and ask you to give a little brief intro to what you do too, because I know a few others who are not in the meeting today that may listen to the replay that would benefit from really just recognizing who you are, what you bring to the table, because we do need to know who the warriors on the field are and what we're doing, because like you're living your vocation. You've got a launch in April and you're fully committed to bringing that creative baby to life. So I'm going to let you explain what you're birthing.
That's right. Thanks, Laura. Yeah, so this has been a long time in the making. I've been a software developer
Nate,
professionally. Oh,
just your volume is really low. Apologies.
Yeah, no worries. Let me try to fix that. Let's see. Oh, let's try this. How's that?
It's a bit better, maybe.
Maybe? Okay.
We can hear a reverb now.
Interesting.
I'm just pulling up the YouTube so that I can see if there's any comments in there. I haven't been following along with that since my computer is trying to do a lot, and sometimes it doesn't cooperate with doing all of them at the same time. Okay. We're paused. Nate, how's it going over there on your end with the volume? Well, now we can't hear you at all.
Now you can't hear me now.
Now we can.
Now you can. I'm gonna join from another device. Give me a moment. I'll come back to me. I'm gonna join from another device.
Perfect. Okay, so while Nate comes back in and then can tell us about that opportunity, Annette, I wanted to check in and see whether there was anything that you were looking to share, or you were just looking to tune in and get caught up on album 23 and how to be part of that.
Yeah, well, I've been on this journey with Laura and Jared for a while now, and it's just a bit like you know, I could just sit here and just listen to you. You know, it's like, it's just, there's a lot of what you say just really resonates with me, and yeah, it's great. It's great what you guys are doing. I think it's needed, very much so. There's a lot of people out there who are hurting, and a lot of people out there, just from my own experience meeting with people who have been abused in institutions, whether that was a mother and baby home or an industrial school. I've met a good few survivors through singing that song at protests and stuff like that, and they want their stories to be heard, and they want their stories to be told, and there's healing in that for them as well, to get it out, you know. And my kind of where I'm coming from at the moment, I'm looking at maybe doing some kind of play or show. I don't know if you'd even call it a show, but some kind of play where we can put on different scenes from different survivors' experience and reenact them and get the message out there, you know. And I think you'd have lots of people here in Ireland going to this play, survivors, victims, because every time I go and sing that song, there's still an awful lot. Just to give people a bit of background about the song, it's a song I wrote to help raise awareness for anybody who suffered abuse from Ireland's mother and baby homes. So these were state and church run. They were colluding together, the state and the church, and they built these homes here in Ireland for women who fell pregnant outside of marriage. So they were basically locked away and made feel shame, and their babies were taken off them, a lot of them never signed any consent. And it was like over 100,000 women went through the doors of these mother and baby homes, inverted commas. And there's an awful lot of trauma out there. And every time I go and sing that song, I meet somebody somewhere and they go, I was working in one of those homes. For example, last time this lady said to me, I worked in one of those homes. And it was only after spending time with her, I actually found out that she was sent there. I'm not going to say a resident because they were incarcerated there. But there's still that shame around, you know, she's kind of looking over her shoulder, whispering, going, I worked in one of those homes. And I want to get rid of that. You know, I want to get rid of that shame that these women are still carrying. And I feel if I do some kind of a play, you know, it's getting the message out there that, you know, we're listening and we're here, and as a people, we're standing with you in solidarity, because from you guys will probably get this, the Irish people are known as like friendly and kind, and we're a neutral country, and the perception of us around the world is like we're a nice, you know, nation, which generally we are, but then there's this dark long shadow that's hanging over us from when the state and church ran these homes. And it was fueled by the Catholic Church wanting Ireland to be this beacon of Catholicism, and like to put a woman away for doing the most natural thing in the world, having a baby, like it's just mind-boggling. And like I just there's a new podcast out as well, and the Survivor sent me yesterday. There's a really good journalist here, and she's exposing what went on, and she's redacted lives. I'll send it on to Laura and Jared and whoever else is interested. And I think as a collective people in Ireland, they want to do something about this, and they want to express their frustration and why it went on, how did it go on, and stand with the people. They don't know what to do. So I think having a show like that or a play, it would give people the opportunity to come to this. They pay an entrance fee, and then the money could go to a charity to help. I like some of these survivors are in poverty still, and you know, it's like just give them funds or to help in any way possible, you know, or aside from the money, like you were talking about, just bring it into the consciousness and say, you know, yeah, it is really bad what went on, and we're here, and we're not brushing it under the carpet like what the government want to do and the church want to do and have wanted to do for years. So that's kind of where I am at the minute. And it's funny because just from listening to you and other things that's gone on, you kind of, like you said, always say it's no coincidence. Like I'm meeting people who are helping in the sense of like screenplays and who write screenplays, you know, like last night I was at a screenplay with all these actors and a production company, and then I met with a festival who, you know, they might be able to fund some. So it's just the universe is giving me, bring the people into my life who can help make this happen, because it's a bit like your project. It can't happen on our own. You need a collaboration, and that's where I'm at the minute.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, all the power to you, and best wishes with that creative endeavor, Annette. And definitely we'll look forward to staying posted on how all of that goes for you. And Nate just rejoined as well with his audio, so hoping that works out better. While you were talking, I know you probably heard it, but I was sharing your song Fly Far Away, which is on album 22 plus. So anyone that hasn't checked that out yet, I would encourage you to do that. That was the video with it, but obviously you'll be able to actually get to it through album 22 plus. Fly Far Away is on there. So healing the child within. And Nate, if you wanted to try your speaker, Annette, unless there was anything else that you wanted to share before.
No, that's good. Now I'll mute myself just in case any background noise. And thanks for listening.
Yeah, no, thank you. And
Okay.
very much do look forward to, oops, we got some All Eyes on Me by Bo Burnham. I like that song, which it's not necessarily the most I don't know, maybe it is a really high frequency. There's parts of it that that are not so high vibing, but there's a part of me that still likes the song anyway. But however it goes, Nate, can we hear you?
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Yes, yes,
right.
We are
Great.
here. You are live. The floor is yours.
And that, just thanks for sharing all that. That's really beautiful, and I hope that work finds popularity in the public eye, so they can look at what was done without recoiling and can integrate that beautiful work you're doing. Yeah, I was starting to talk about just my journey and my path a bit. I've been a software developer for 15 years. I've worked in a lot of different programming languages, and I've witnessed a lot of people trying to learn programming for the first time and being intimidated, having barriers, having to learn too many things at once to make it sustainable. There's a lot of intricacy in coding and building software. Some of it is fundamental and foundational. There's mathematics at the core of all programming, and CPU is really just smashing electrons against each other. So there's a fundamental core of reality that is being accessed when you are programming. And I want to liberate the programmer creative from the constraint of the existing way of doing things with files and file extensions and compiling. There's a lot of knowledge and things that need to be comprehended that are very technical, that are kind of superfluous to the true fundamental act of programming. And so I want to cut away some of the baggage there and the crap that's accumulated. Nothing against any form of programming that has already been created. Each one serves a purpose, and it helps people build websites. It's amazing what you can do today already as a low-skilled developer or a beginner developer. There are many resources available. There's information overload. That's another side of the coin here. So my goal over the next few months, Laura mentioned, I'm hoping to launch in April my platform, which will be a software development, learning, coding, and sharing community where we can share projects with each other at all of our stages. There's a lot of things like this out there in the world already, and I'm just planning to kind of work with those ideas and concepts and refine it into something that feels approachable. People should be able to start learning how to program at a fundamental level without having to worry about the web and websites and all the details that come later. So a lot to work out. I have many puzzle pieces worked out, but this whole thing it's a jigsaw puzzle, and it needs to be fit together. And I'm going to be welcoming all types of creators, whether you want to create music or digital art, something I'm very passionate about as well, to share our micro programming creation that can run on this platform and can be shared with each other. That's where I'm at. Thanks, Laura.
Thank you very much for all the effort you took to share that with getting your audio sorted out. And very much look forward to seeing how it unfolds and the connections and collaborations that come from these meetings and the courses and opportunities that come from here. So today was really just laying down the groundwork and seeing who's really interested in doing the work, like Joseph is demonstrating. And that's the cool thing about these meetings. It's like we can really just genuinely be ourselves and, honor our body and do what needs to happen, which is part of even there's a course I've been on Sunday. We'll actually do the 9th session of a 9-week program for your special practice pilot program, which is, this sacred self or the sacred sojourn of the soul, physiology, emotionality. You've got consciousness and conscience, intuition, alignment with the now, and leadership as what the special acronym stands for. So, physiology, you got to honor the body, because if you don't move it, you lose access to aspects of it. So really grateful to be able to move in harmony with each of you who showed up today, and would appreciate if you'd share it with a few friends. If you would talk to others in your community that you're aware of, in your family, in your extended friends group, or connections, just to kind of say, hey, this opportunity to do the inner work is here. And there will be a music project component, kind of like an exam at the end, where you can actually put everything that you've learned to practice. What I think what I'm imagining the songs for the album, what I think would be a really cool thing, though I'm not set on this. I think it would be really super cool to actually make it an opportunity for an artist to talk about the transformation of actually calling back an aspect of our soul. Because what I experienced that I feel is so relevant to where we're all really collectively and individually at is the fact that when you call back an aspect of yourself that hasn't been loved, received, accepted, embraced previously, there's not going to be a sense of warmth there generally, because there's a lot of fear. That part of you has been rejected previously. So they're kind of coming into an environment where they're already on edge. They're already, not sure as to where they stand or who they're okay with. So like that part of you is coming back in. And when it does, and you have that unrest within you, really learning how to dance with that aspect of yourself that forgot how to dance because you said dancing wasn't okay. And that you punished that part of you for dancing when, it wanted to, and you said it's not the right time, it's not the right place. All of those criticisms and judgments that previously were put on that part of you now is suddenly coming out, and you're saying, I'm different now, it's okay. And like that part doesn't trust, and then actually reincorporating that part of you, the reintegration aspect that leads to embodiment of a new energetic signature, which is ultimately what's going to change the music that we're able to contribute. These things are all fundamentally part of the reconstruction process that we're going through individually and collectively. And like, it's a structuring process. How are we structuring our lives even? And how does this project fit into that? Because, this isn't the end all and be all, or the be all and end all of anything, right? But at the same time, it can be as big as what you need it to be for you, as big as what you want it to be for you. If you want to make a song that you have on an album with 2 albums before it with artists that, have already got their songs out there, then you get to have that added opportunity to be the 3rd album as part of that, connected to all of those people too. You can be. And if you just want to do the inner work without having to be part of the album project, then do that. Just don't choose not to participate because any one part of it seems too big for you, because it's not. Everything is digestible in bite-sized chunks. So just work through what is being offered here in a way that you can benefit instead of feeling overwhelmed, because overwhelmed is just going to set off your nervous system and send you into a fight, flight, freeze, fawn, fornicate, and fuck off mode. Like, it's just not going to work well, right? It's honest. Sometimes I do need to come with a PG-13 warning. But, I do my best to be real and authentic, and I ask that each of us do the same. And sometimes, people will criticize it if you got a little bit of fragrant language in your words or in your word speak, but at the same time it gets the point across, and it's 11:55, which is a good number of new beginnings and change in my world. So I want to open the floor and see if anyone else has anything more you'd like to add.
You're good on swearing. You hit no on the made for children setting, so you're good. No
True.
problems. No
Thank
problems.
you.
You're an alignment there. That's good.
Perfect.
Yeah. I also just wanted to loop back and briefly mention the Loving Society project. It is a project much like this where I'm trying to create a foundation for future culture and society. I have some aggressive beliefs about what's coming up in the future, and I've been preparing for that since 2017. And so to have the answer of what life will be like after a major change, I wanted to get there before it showed up, and I feel like I've done a decent job, and I'm still trying to cultivate and create the final touches of what I think the future might look like.
So
How can you talk more about that?
Yeah, absolutely, Nate. I feel free to reach out. I'll give you the link, and whatever else, we can talk about it at your leisure.
Cool.
We can also talk about your marketing as well, for sure.
Well, I am just noticing all of the comments that have come in that are very inappropriate, far more so than my Freudian slip, if you want to call that what swearing is. So I'm just going to remove all of these, and would really appreciate if you could actually get a written version of your proposal, Joseph.
Yeah,
I don't know. If you could do that, then that'll give us an opportunity to work with that more. And Grounded Bull Analytic Eye, great to have you here and see you in the comments. He contributes a lot of really valuable insights that I am grateful to always be able to benefit from seeing in the comments there. So thank you very much. We're cleared down now over there. Anybody else want to add anything before we wrap up for today?
I think you're doing a great job there, Laura. I really appreciate the energy in getting this going, and really just being yourself and letting your light shine. That's how we're going to fulfill our purpose in life, by letting our light shine. So thank you.
Thank you, Jared. I appreciate you very much. And I do look forward. I know that we will get to the album project part. So Jared is definitely going to come into a bigger piece of the puzzle and the play with all of that, with Janine and Emily, and how the project part of this shapes up. But definitely in the meantime, getting ourselves in fine working order is a great starting place. And so unless I hear anyone else make any final...
If I was just going to say that you guys are really supportive. If you are considering submitting a song, it isn't difficult. Like yourself and Jared are very helpful, and just to put that out to the other artists, that it's you make it not a challenge in the sense of you make it easy for us to do. So if you're anyway put off going, what do I have to do and what do I have to submit, and it's fairly straightforward, and it's very worthwhile. So I just wanted to add that in.
Thank you, Annette. Very much appreciate that.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, awesome. All right, Nate, now that there are three of you, I'm not sure whether you're wanting to say something out of one of those.
No, sorry. No, I just reopened the Zoom tab. I don't know what happened here. Yeah. Fine.
All right. Not a problem at all. Very much appreciate your showing up today, and we'll close out the meeting at the hour mark exactly, and say huge thank you for showing up. I'll get this posted to, well, it's already to YouTube, so it'll just be the next one, and in the meantime, I'll get the details out as to what's next, and appreciate each of you for standing in your power and being your authentic selves.
Thanks, Laura.